Today, welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. And today is a very special reason for a couple of reasons. First of all, because I am joined today by Amanda Johnson Young, and I'm very excited about that. And especially because today is the first soulful story. So that's something that really lights me up. And with you here, Amanda, I think that's even a bigger game changer for me. And before we dive right into it, I just want to say welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show, where ambitious entrepreneurs hear more about how they can do business with ease, attract clients, and, enjoy their business and their life. That's what we're all about. And Amanda, welcome.
Hello.
It's so nice to have you here. Can you tell a bit more about who you are?
Yes. Well, I'm a brand strategist, an intuitive designer, and a soul guide. I enjoy working with lovely men and women, but mainly women, that are what I have termed the woo-woo at heart. And that's a term of endearment, the woo-woo. It's basically for heart-centered, intuitive, creative, transformational entrepreneurs that are here to share their amazing gifts with the world. I provide spiritual-based guidance and intuitive directed design so that my clients can energetically attune with their business, their brand, their marketing, and align that with their heart and their soul.
I love that. So it sounds amazing. And you're saying you're a soul coach, right?
Yes, I do soul guidance. So it's more than just like coaching or and the coaching thing. I'm really more of a guide. I like to direct and let them do what feels right for them. So we get into more than just the branding and the visual design and all of that, because there's a lot of stuff that comes up when people are going to put themselves out there. So that's where the soul guidance comes in, and I work with them and their energy and even their soul teams, their guides, and try to get the best out there for them that is energetically aligned for them.
Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about today, right? How to attract clients with the right energy. And I love that you don't just call them clients, do you?
No, I don't. They're what I call soul clients. And I didn't create this. I heard this one time from somebody I was following or talking to, actually. And I was just like, oh, that's it. It's more than just an ideal client. That's the normal branding term. But it's basically individuals that you love working with, that are easygoing, collaborative, that kind of lift you up and make what you do exciting. But then there's a little bit more to that, because I believe that we all have people here on the planet that are here to work with us or to engage with us on a soul level, to not only just work with us or you help them, but also learn and grow with. Almost everybody that I work with, I'm still friends with, I have a collaborative relationship with, and I've helped them, and they have definitely helped me. They've helped me learn more about myself, more about my business, and I love to do that with them as well. So that's what I mean by soul clients.
I love it. I love that you say, it's easy to work with them. They almost always become friends.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feels aligned. That's
good. It's just, yeah. And when you don't have a good, when it's not a right energy match. I mean, you really know. So I kind of try to coach all of my clients to try to find theirs, instead of working from the feast and famine and the fear of missing out aspect of things that a lot of entrepreneurs do, especially if they're starting out or things are not flowing the way that they need to and they're not making the amount of money. Fear kicks in, and then you think, oh, I've got to work with this person, but I have to kind of coach them and say, no, you don't. You don't. If they're not an energy match for you, you're going to know it pretty quick. You're going to be miserable the whole time you're working with them, and it's just not worth it. That's not being true to you or to them for that matter. So I kind of try to push everybody for the soul client.
But I like what you're saying. It's indeed when you feel you need the money, or when you're just starting out, that you have to say yes to everyone. And you're very clear. No, you only work with the clients that are truly aligned, that feel good to you, that are your soul clients. And what you said was, there needs to be an energetic match. But how do I know that I'm an energetic match to someone? Because it sounds easy, and you're saying, but how do I know?
Well, if you pay attention, energy is always around anyway. We're made of energy. We have an energy frequency. Everything that we touch, everything that we do, our actions create energy. Energy doesn't lie. That's number one. Energy is so true, and it's almost like a built-in radar and a detector for you to know what's true for you and what's not. Now, what happens is, a lot of times fears, you get up in your head, fears happen, things happen, and you are up here and you're not paying attention to that. You might have all of these red flags that are flying like crazy, and all of these things going, rah, 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 don't do this. But if you're in your head going, I haven't had a client in a month and I really need X amount of money, I'm going to work with this person anyway, no matter, even if you're feeling icky, like even if you're stressed while you're talking to them, even if your stomach's hurting, or you've got this little thing in the back of your mind going, don't do this, don't do this. If you ignore that, that's what happens with that. So mainly what I suggest doing is paying more attention, how your body feels. If you don't feel good, if you're dreading talking to the person, if you start dreading getting emails from these people, that's a clear sign that that's not an energetic match for you. If you ignore that and start working with them, and then it's like they nitpick everything that you say or you do, you have miscommunications. I mean, there's lots of warning signs for that. And there's nothing wrong with even doing it later on and realizing, we don't mesh very well together. It's not anything personal, because energy really is not. It's not personal, but I'm gonna, maybe help them find somebody else that might be better suited for them. There's ways to get out of that kind of stuff, and you deserve to be able to work with the right people, and your clients deserve to be working with the right person too.
Yeah,
you're doing a disservice to yourself and to them if you continue in that relationship.
Yeah, I also have the experience that once you have indeed said yes to someone who isn't your, as you titled them, soul clients, that it never works out. It somehow, there's always something, or they don't pick it up, or or once you're done, they they complain, and you go like, why are you complaining? I've been doing all the work. So there's really a mismatch. And don't you think that sometimes you really have to kind of bump your nose to learn your lesson? Or is that precisely what you help your clients with?
Well, I think everybody has life lessons, definitely. And, some people are more experimental than others, and they don't like being told what to do. So they're going to have to stub their toe a couple of times before they figure it out. But then some people listen, and some people just know. We've got our own built-in intuitive guidance, and some people know how to listen to that. Some people don't pay attention to it at all. And it does take some practice and some honing. But yeah, I don't remember what you asked me now.
This was a question. You already answered it, basically. Okay. Yeah, we all bump into our nose, and sometimes it's a lesson, but sometimes you just have to, experience.
It might be a big life lesson. I can tell you that I've had several times where I keep attracting the same type of client, and I have a way to check their energy and know who they are. And I I was attracting the same types of clients, and they were a little bit more difficult. They made me, they kind of made me kind of bow to their will a little bit. It was nothing that they were doing in general. It was just their natural energy. And I'm kind of like, I don't know how to handle this. And, one day I was like, why do I keep having these same people come? And it was because I needed to do something different. either one, say, no, I don't want to work with them, or two, to handle them in a different manner. And I finally did that. And as soon as I did that, those clients don't come to me anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of, with anything in business, it's trial or error, and it's definitely, there's a learning curve. There's always a learning curve. Even when you think that you know everything, there's always going to be, nope, you've got to learn this lesson now. So.
Yeah, or you get to the next level. That's also a possibility. Yeah. And I like what Tracy said, some people you are meant to work with and others you're not, and which is totally fine. And I also like the thought, because that's what some of my clients experience. They go like, well, I will say yes, because that brings in money, but also with the idea that if I say no and I turn them down, there aren't enough other clients. And that's the same. No, I don't want to pick one specific client that I'm there for. I want to work with everyone. But the thing is, the more specific you are, the better aligned you are, and the easier it is to attract your clients.
It's easier across the board. It's easier with your branding, your messaging, your social media. You know who you're talking to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that goes back to how do you find your soul clients? Well, number one, you've got to figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be who you are, and you've got to be authentic. You've got to walk your walk and talk your talk. Number two is you've got to discern who do you like working with, who makes your heart sing when you work with them, that kind of thing, and determine that. And then number three, you've got to be willing to be you, put yourself out there, and do that all the time. If you're hiding, if you're doing all of the, you're over here procrastinating and over preparing and what do they call it? Planning or whatever it is. They're not going to see you. If you're not on social, if you're not putting content out, if you're not doing all of that, and you're not open for business energetically, they're not going to find you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
There's a little bit more to it than just, determining who your soul client is. You definitely got to put some skin in the game.
Yeah. So tell me something about that. And I like this comment as well. People who want me to work for them are pushy and crude. That's something you feel, something is off. They aren't really aligned. But what can I do if I want to attract my soul client, my ideal client? Can I do something? And you already mentioned it, but you also mentioned your experience, and we're going to talk a bit more about your story. But can I do something that kind of makes me energetically then more attractive?
Yeah.
My soul clients, what could I do if I somehow attract the wrong people that seem off? How can I then change that so that I become that energetic match for the right people?
Well, I would say number one would be pay attention. When you figure out, it might be right in that instance. It could be as you're working with them. As soon as you figure out that they're not the right fit for you, honor that. Be honest about that and let them know, I really, really want to help you, but there's something energetically kind of blocking us, or we're not meshing. In the case of this last client that I had, that I was like, what's going on? I keep bringing these same people in here, and it was more like they were telling me what they wanted instead of letting me do my process. And what I ended up figuring out was I tuned in a little bit to them and was like, what could be blocking us from really communicating? I don't feel like, and then it was like the word trust came in. And what I ended up realizing was either she's not trusting me or she's not trusting herself. So I call her out on it, to be quite honest. That's where the soul guidance comes in. And I was just like, something's going on here. You have done this logo over and over and over again. It usually only takes me three, you get three options. Usually it's a couple of little minor tweaks, sometimes not even at all. And, it's done. And we have been spending like hours on this. And, you've asked. The other thing, she was asking other people's opinions. And I was like, if they're not your clients, if they're not going to be somebody that you're going to want to work with, they're not your clients. So they're going to be either, criticizing and judging what what you're asking them to give you an opinion on, or they're going to be placating you. And either way, that's not working either. So I called them out. And when I did, it was like this wall just kind of dropped between the two of us, because I was like going, maybe I need to let this person go. But instead it was like, oh, I'm glad you said that. Yes, I had some stuff happen to me when I was little, and I don't trust myself. I don't even know how to tune in to my guidance. I didn't know that I shouldn't be asking for advice from my friends and family about this logo. I was like, this needs to please you. And this needs to represent you and your energy, because this is like a calling card for you. And I said, and the logo's not the most important thing. I said, your copy, all this other stuff, we're getting hung up on one aspect for you. What's going on here? And so that's what I really suggest people doing. Instead of running away, because it's easy sometimes to just say, I can't work with you, bye-bye. But you might continue to keep attracting those types of people until you really do something different. And that's my suggestion, is to do something different. It might still not work out. They might not be the right person. You'll know when that happens. If you call them out and you say, hey, there's something going on here. I don't understand what's going on. Tracy, this is branding therapy.
Yeah.
Branding therapy, yes. And it is. I mean, I've had clients that have cried on me just because they were so fearful about putting themselves out there. And this was doing your branding. It seems like it would be like the easiest thing. Just popping a website up, all of that stuff. It's not. You run into all kinds of fears and limiting beliefs and blocks, and finding out that you got all these like bad patterns like procrastination and time wasting and all of this stuff, because you're ultimately just scared to put yourself out there. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
So there is some branding therapy.
And tell me a bit about your story. I think we heard already something, but what made you decide this is what I'm going to focus on?
Well, I'm not sure how far back I need to go. The bottom line was, when I was younger, I was bullied and mistreated, and took all of that in, took that personally, and took that in and thought something was wrong with me, and hid a lot of the things about myself that people had told me were flaws, or that I shouldn't do or say or act, and tried to fit in. I felt like the safest way for me to do all of this and to live and to not get hurt is to fit in. And so I hid. Every time something would happen, I was back in my little closet back here. I just would shove everything back, and to the point that, I didn't know who I was anymore. And when I was in 2011, I had to have a partial hysterectomy, which was supposed to be laparoscopic surgery with minor incisions, and turned out to be emergency surgery, and me walking away with a 7-inch vertical scar on my stomach. So when that happened, not only was I physically opened up and then patched back together, but on a spiritual level, it was like the doors on my closet back there hiding all this stuff that I didn't want to pay attention to and didn't want anybody to see. The doors just kind of blew off the hinges, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So long story short, I found an excellent therapist. I still talk with her, and started going down the spiritual path and personal growth path of healing. And I've been a designer, a brand designer, graphic designer, actually, for many, many years, over 20 years, and just didn't, I knew how to do it, and I knew I did a good job, but I knew something was missing, and I could see all these other people that were doing things that were just lighting them up, and I kind of figured out, as going on my spiritual path, I realized I'm a healer, and how can I bring that kind of stuff in? And that's what I ended up doing. Was it is like brand therapy, like Tracy said. it really is more to business. And especially I work with men and women, but women have a lot of self-confidence things and a lot of things around self-worth and self-love and all of that kind of stuff. And you don't think that it plays into your business, but it really, really does. And if you're not being true to who you are and you're not presenting yourself out there authentically and in complete alignment with what you can really do, that's where the disconnect happens with your business. So, it's just been with time that I've realized, this all really kind of runs together. It also runs together with, all of these business programs out and the branding programs, marketing programs, all of these people that have created these programs. They're awesome. And I'm not trying to kick them or say anything bad about their programs, but they worked for them and were successful for them because that was them. They were the ones that created that. That's their energy. And some of the stuff that you learn might work for you too. But I don't know about your experience, but I've had to tweak a lot of the things to have it work for me. Or there's some stuff I kick to the curb. There's just some things that I'm just not able to do. And, when I realized that, I was just like, there's got to be a way to kind of bring all of this in together, because I can tell somebody how to do their branding all day long, but and if they're not being real and it's not them and they're copying their competitors and they're just tweaking a word here or there, that's not real. That's not authentic. So my motto is walk your walk, talk your talk. And I had to do it too. So, because it wasn't working for me for a while, and I was like, what is going on? And I'm trying all these programs and doing what these people are telling me to do, listening to the brand gurus and the marketers and all of that stuff, and was like, why is this not working for me? I'm spending all this money. They say it's going to work. Yeah. And then I finally was just like, because I'm not them. And my energy doesn't work the same way. I'm not energetically made to go out and just do it and just get it and ask people for things. It's got to kind of flow in. And once I learned a little bit more about how my energy works, I've kind of just had to massage and manipulate and find out what works for me. And then that's what I do with my clients as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you say. And I thank you for sharing your story, because it takes courage to do that. So, and I really appreciate it. And I'm very sure that many people that are watching will recognize themselves in the story. I know that many of my clients will, because that's what I encounter, that a lot of people have something happening to them in the past that really almost brand mark them. And either it's consciously or unconsciously. And the unconscious is actually the hardest part. But they always feel different. And exactly what you say, it's almost as if when you're an entrepreneur, everybody has an opinion about you. This is how you should do it. This is how you should do it. And the problem is that they're also all contradicting. It's like follow a LinkedIn course. There's so many ways how LinkedIn can work for you that you go like, but I am so with you. It's what works for you and what feels right for you that you should follow. And I'm when you said I spent all this money and I wondered why doesn't it work, I totally understand. I think many again will understand that, because it is that promise that you then buy into, that you think this is why I want it. And I'm more and more coming to realize it shouldn't be that promise. It should be because you want to invest in yourself and you think I am worth it. And this person I'm going to learn something from. But it's not the end of my prayer, so to say, because I'm the end of my prayer. I'm going to make it happen. But I think it's rare to find people that are open to that. So it's very precious to hear you say that, because I don't think there are that many people. There are many people saying, this is the way. And also it's the only way, it's playing into that fear. that we all know so well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Let's see, what does Tracy say? You can beat yourself up because things aren't working, but when you realize that tactic doesn't match with your energy, it's freeing. It is totally freeing. Yeah. Find a strategy and tactics that work with your energy. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And you know, everybody has something good to share, and I'm not dissing any of that at all. And you know, almost every program that I have invested in, even though I wasn't able to take the whole kit and caboodle, I've been able to like find what did work.
Yeah.
I mean, what didn't, but it really has to do with what you feel comfortable doing. And not just even what you feel comfortable doing. Sometimes you do have to get out of your comfort zone to grow. Actually, to be quite honest, not sometimes, always. So, you know, but you still don't know if that's the right thing for you. So a lot of the stuff that I share with my clients, the very first thing that I do with them is what I call a sacred sync. And the first part of that is the soul exploration. And I share a lot of information with them that they may know already, but they might need some validation for it. And I definitely share some information that they're like, oh, I didn't even know that about myself. Or I shine the light on it in a different way where they can see it as a gift instead of it being a, you know, a shadow or this flaw that they thought that they had. And the second part of that is we get into the business goals and things like that, and get a strategy that's made just for them, not just my strategy.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things that they can do, but is it right for them? Maybe not. And so, you know, I've got my little toolbox of all of the stuff, energetic toolbox, and even like branding toolbox and design and all of that. And I figure out what's right for them, because we're not cookie cutter. Every one of us are unique and beautiful, and we're here to shine, and we're here to be lifted up and to share our gifts in the way that only we can share them. And going back to how you can tell energetically if you're in alignment, if you're not, you know, walking your walk, talking your talk, and you're sharing, you're trying to sell something to somebody that you've not done for yourself, that's the disconnect right there.
Yeah.
If you're saying, you know, oh, follow me, I'll get you to making 6 figures a year, and you don't make 6 figures a year, there you go. It's not going to work. So, and I can even use an example of something that I did that happened to me was I was working on my business, trying to bring in the energy and the healing and the spirituality part of things, and all of the other stuff that I know how to do. And when I was working on that, I was awoken to these words in my head: fearless brand design and business guidance for the woo-woo at heart. So the woo-woo at heart I've kept because that's true, but I put that up there, fearless, all of it. And it was like this, just, you know, I had all of these clients that were coming, I was having referrals, I had all of this stuff coming to me. And then when I changed that, it was like, just like stop, everything stopped completely. And to the point that, like, my husband was like, you're not bringing any business in. Maybe we need to look for, you know, you might need to look for a job. All of that kind of happened. And it took me about a year or so to realize, oops, I'm not fearless. I can't say that. And it's because I'm not. I mean, you know, I've had a panic, anxiety. I'm a pretty fearful person. And, you know, how can I get them to do something and fearlessly do it if I can't fearlessly do it myself? As soon as I changed all of that, started getting clients again, got an opportunity to talk to you. So, you know, you got to be really mindful of your advertising, your marketing, your words, and make sure that it's something that's really honest and true for you.
Yeah.
And maybe I know how to help people be fearless because I have some tools and techniques, but if I don't know how to be fearless myself, it's definitely not going to work. So.
Yeah. So you were talking about tools and technique, and that brought me, you have something beautiful that you are sharing with everybody who's watching today, or when you're watching in a replay, use #replay, because we would love to hear from you. And it's actually the Soul Client Finder Guide, right? We've been talking a lot about soul clients, and this is the guide that's going to help you to it.
Well, it helps you like kind of discern and narrow it down, you know, and you're going to get a little creative in there. And there's a lot of more touchy-feely questions. I'm all about heart-based businesses, and because really that's where your soul's at. So if you're going to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty, answering more touchy-feely, how do you want to feel? How do you want your clients to feel kind of questions? I've found that that's the best way to really hone in on the people that you really want to attract. And, you know, you might have to massage that and experiment with that for a while, but this will kind of give you some questions that you can kind of go back to.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Amanda. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to share before we end it for today?
My other like underlying message for everybody is you're beautiful and you deserve to be able to shine your light and do your thing. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't do what I did, and don't go high.
I love that. I think that there's no more need for anything else. Thank you so much for being here. It was a true pleasure, and I love how vulnerable you were, because that's, I think, what we need more of. So thank you so much. And everyone who's watching, have a great weekend. We will be back on Monday. Bye.
Bye-bye.